I'm Baker Pedee, and do you love bagels? I love bagels. So as you know, we're on the road. We're traveling this great country of ours, and we're currently in Peoria, Arizona for Padres spring training. But I'm going to show you how to do wonderful bagels on the road. I can't wait till tomorrow morning. We're going to have lox, we're going to have capers, we're going to have fresh bagels, and it's so easy to do it on the road. And once again, as I've said before, it's probably going to take you 20 or 30 minutes to drive and get bagels that may or may not be fresh, and then bring them back to your coach when it's so easy to do it in your coach. And like always, we're just going to do it in a stainless steel bowl. Okay, now when we make bagels, it's the exact same recipe as when we do pizza dough. So I encourage you to go back and look at the pizza dough recipe, and we're going to pick this up right after we've rested for 30 minutes. We've kneaded it in the bowl, and then we put it on the cutting board, and that's where we are. So now we start making bagels instead of pizza, and the difference in the bagels is that we're going to make this dough today. We're going to leave it in the refrigerator overnight, and then tomorrow morning when we wake up, we're simply going to boil some water. We're going to boil the bagels, and then we're going to put them in the oven. All right, let's get started. So remember, just like our pizza dough, which we would cut in two, and so for bagels, I don't know how many I'm going to get out of this, 4 or 8. And they all don't have to be perfect, right? So you just make a bagel. Kind of pinch this together. You don't want this opening them up tomorrow morning when we boil them. Looks like I'm going to have about 5 bagels. Probably could have gotten 6. They would have been a little smaller. And we might have a couple for our neighbors tomorrow morning. That would be nice. So this 2-cup dough will give you 5 or 6 bagels. Okay, we're going to put this in the refrigerator with a towel over it, and we'll see you tomorrow morning with fresh bagels. Well, good morning. It's time for bagels, and so here's where we are. We've got a raging boil going on our water, which is what you need to do the bagels. We've got our bagels from the refrigerator. They've been in there overnight. They're ready to go. And we have a preheated oven at the highest setting, which in this coach is 475 degrees. Here's how simple it is. We're going to boil these bagels about a minute on each side. And I don't think I can get 5 in here, so I'm going to do 3 and then 2. We want to keep this water boiling if we can. There we go. Here comes a nice boil again. So once again, a good high rolling boil. You can do this at home or you can do it on the road, which we're doing here. At home, I'll have a slightly bigger pot and I can do about 6 of them at a time. But on the road, it looks like I can do about 3 of them. There's a nice boil. All right, we're going to just kind of give this a little bit of a flip. A minute on that side, and we'll cook our final 2 bagels. Okay, these first 3 have been cooked a minute on each side. I should say boiled a minute on each side. We'll take them out. Before we top these, we'll get our next 2 started. All right, I think I'm going to do 3 of them. Everything bagel is my favorite topping. and that's why I'm gonna do 3. Now, Julie and I are gonna have a bagel each, but we have neighbors that we promised to bring fresh bagels over in the morning, and so when we're done baking these here, we'll take them over to our neighbors. And these last 2 have cooked for about a minute on each side. Take them out. All right, I think we're gonna do 1 sesame seed here. And I think we're gonna do 1 cheese. Now, of course, the cheese you can put jalapenos in and cheese on the inside of the dough, but for now we're gonna do this. They're gonna go in the oven for about 10 minutes on each side, and you wanna immediately place them in the oven. And we'll have fresh bagels in 20 minutes. Very exciting. Okay, it's time to take our bagels out of the oven now. They've been cooking for 20 minutes, 10 minutes, and then I rotated the pan and another 10 minutes. They've got a nice light brown crust to them. I want to just take them out here. And they look pretty good for doing it on the road. So we've got some everything bagels. We've got a nice cheddar bagel and a sesame bagel. And then here we have prepared, it's gonna be a great morning. Oh my gosh. We've got lox, we've got cream cheese with a bit of dill on top, some red onions, and some capers. So it's time to take a couple of these over to my neighbor, and then we'll come back and have bagels for breakfast. All right, the bagels turned out great. And you know, I always say, share a little piece of your heart with others. And so we're taking this platter over to our neighbors, Glenn and Julia, this morning, so they can have fresh bagels as well. So it's time to deliver some fresh bagels. Okay, you know we're not done until I try this bagel, right? All right, that might be the best bagel ever. And here's what makes it so great. Remember, we made it last night over in the refrigerator overnight, boiled it this morning. You cannot make a good bagel unless you boil it. 1 minute to 1.5 minutes each side. Then you cook it in a 450, 475 degree oven. The toppings are just amazing. The salmon's amazing. We shared this with our neighbors this morning and brought them fresh bagels, which makes it part of the wonderful morning. So get in the kitchen, share a little bit of your love. It's Baker Pedee, and we'll see you next time in the Great Open Road Bakery.